Now, for those of you who want the release of the Chibok schoolgirls, they may be hope around the corner. Great indeed, right? But when you look at the raging spate of killings of people in the northeastern part of Nigeria, do you still feel that way? Do you think that this group, they are willing to sit on the table and have a conversation with President Muhammadu Buhari? Good morning, Nigeria, and welcome to our top story. We're looking at this issue along with others that, border on our defense mechanism, especially as we try to keep pushing Boko Haram insurgents. Now, joining us to discuss this is a research analyst, and he is also a columnist. His name is Bayo Oluphunda. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming.
You try with the name Oluphunda.
Anyway.
It's okay.
It's the hard part.
It's all right. It's the tomato effect. But let's get to it. Now, there is a new report to this discussion. Let me just get straight to it. That the New Deal has actually been brokered. Now, how true that is subject to a debate, whereby the president, according to Femi Adesina, he's saying that the president is trying to certify the genuine nature of these people that have come to table with them to discuss this. Now, before we get into your take, what your opinion is this true? Do you believe this?
If it is true, I think the government of Buhari is going on another wild goose chase. Yes, because if you look at the history of our attempts to negotiate with Boko Haram, it has always been a botched affair. It's never materialized. Because right now, who is Boko Haram? Who is the face to Boko Haram? Shekau? We haven't even heard from Shekau in the last few months. We heard he's been killed. So right now, I think if the federal government is trying to negotiate with Boko Haram, they will be going on a wild goose chase. It's not going to work because our history with Boko Haram has always been, of negotiation, has always been that of fraud, has always been that of deceit. And remember, the last government was conned, billions of naira, when they tried to negotiate with Boko Haram.
Aside from even looking at, you asking, who's Boko Haram, when we're now talking about negotiating and we're talking about the federal government, can we even be sure that the federal government per se are on one page? Because with the last administration, we would hear negotiations are going to happen. Then we'll have a senator come out to say, we will never negotiate with terrorists. So it was hard to even know, are any sides of this negotiation, is anyone actually united? Can we actually know for sure that we can fully say APC are behind negotiating with terrorists?
Yeah, I think I sympathize with the federal government because if looking at the bloody trail of events in the last 6 years, we've lost like 20,000 Nigerians, over 500 Nigerians kidnapped. The Chibok girls have not been found. Now, the spate of bombing has increased. So I sympathize with the federal government. I mean, every option should be on the table for us to
including negotiation.
Well, they can put that option on the table. Okay. But right now, that option is not even... It's complicated because my take is that we've had a history of botched negotiation with Boko Haram. Boko Haram, you can't put a face to it. You can only put a face to people that are ready to talk to you. Remember that in 2014, early 2014 or late 2013, when the Jonathan government tried to negotiate with Boko Haram, Abubakar Shekau came up and said,
they are the ones who need
amnesty. What harm have we done? We should be giving you amnesty instead. So the guys are not even ready to listen to you. We don't even know the guys. Like right now, when the federal government tried to negotiate under Jonathan, okay, let's take it from 2013 when Shehu Sani, the now senator in the APC, tried to negotiate with Boko Haram. He fell through. The plan fell through. Obasanjo tried to do that when he met Shekau's Yusuf's father-in-law, Baba Fugo. Some days later, the guy was killed. The man was killed. Yes. And the point is, Boko Haram, it should be seen in the context of the ISIS and the Al-Qaeda of this world. You don't negotiate with Boko Haram. And from what position are you negotiating? Is it from the position of strength or weakness? Now, we've lost...
the president said strength. I mean, and then they're looking at another option, the prisoner swap. That's part of what they're bringing to the table because the thing is, any price to pay for the release of the Chibok girls, because right now, sadly, they are being used as tools, as alleged, it's been alleged, as tools for these Boko Haram militants.
We've paid enough price already. We've lost 20,000 Nigerians in the Northeast. We've lost over 500 Nigerians have been kidnapped. Girls, Chibok girls are popular because of the advocacy and bring back the girls, advocates that trailed it. But there has been several kidnapped of women and children. Now, so we shouldn't be talking of negotiating with Boko Haram. We should be talking of routing Boko Haram. Because you know what? There's no face to Boko Haram. They will not come to the negotiating table with you because they already have denounced democracy. They said Nigeria does not exist. They said they want to create an Islamic caliphate around Adamawa, Yobe, and Borno.
But is negotiation for you completely out of the question?
It should be out. You don't negotiate with terrorists.
Is the only language we're to believe that terrorists can understand
is to rout them. Is to rout them. So that is why I think the Buhari government must pursue the multinational efforts with Chad, Niger, and Cameroon. They should hem them in, because this was done when Jonathan, before he left. It was done, even though it was done with the mercenaries and all of that. Okay, but they can do that right now. Boko Haram is picking soft targets because they'll be hemmed in. They can't even do face-to-face combat anymore. So the federal government must continue to explore all possible means to get Boko Haram to rout them.
I want to be clear on your reasons. Okay. You earlier mentioned off the air about how much monies we have spent fruitlessly on this fight against insurgency. Now, is that one of your reasons, or you're just giving us a blatant no that we shouldn't be negotiating with these terrorists because the damage is actually far too caused for us to try to make amends at this point? Yes,
Boko Haram will not negotiate with federal government. You can take my word for it. They will not. They won't come to the negotiating table. There's no face. There's no face to Boko Haram. Okay, there's no face to them. Look, even when Sheikh Sani Obasanjo and even Jonathan instituted the presidential committee.
Davis was involved in that negotiation as well.
It was at that time that they increased their bombing. They went to Jos and killed like 100 people. Okay, and so it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. These people consider other people as infidels. They're not going to sit at the negotiating table with an infidel. What
kind of scenario? I know we say when we're even looking at negotiating, we're not. It's easy to think of just the Chibok girls because of the the name and they got But do you ever, because that's still important, looking at what we are actually trying to get from Boko Haram, aside from them, stopping killing us and bombs? Do you envision a scenario where, aside from the Chibok girls, other people can actually be rescued from Boko Haram without any form of negotiation whatsoever? Or are we to just see that as, casualties of war, yes. We fight them and whatever happens, happens?
Exactly. So how else can they get the Chibok girls back?
Negotiation will not bring the Chibok girls back because they are not going to negotiate with us. They're not going to come to the negotiating table. Okay? They're not going to come to the negotiating table with us.
You sound very confident
on
that.
Yes, they won't do that because they consider other people as infidels. They will not. Shekau said it. If Shekau is still alive, I'm sure he still had that view that they're not going to negotiate with Nigeria because they want to create their own Islamic caliphate around that northeast region. And and remember they have just aligned with ISIS.
Yes.
So it's not going to happen. The federal government will be chasing shadows if they try to do that. What they should do, like I said, is to look. Let me answer your question. We have lost enough people. We've lost like 20,000 Nigerians. They've kidnapped over 500 Nigerians. Okay. Right now, what should happen? Before Jonathan left,
over 500, over 1,000. Let's not forget the boys as well.
Over the boys. So before Jonathan left, they actually rescued some people. Remember?
Yes.
They rescued some girls and it was in the papers.
That weren't a part of the
that's the option we should pursue.
But can I ask you, I know that your opinion is clear that, the federal government should not be negotiating.
We shouldn't be.
But should we find ourselves in the situation, as reports seem to suggest that the federal government will negotiate with Boko Haram, what are some of the steps that will need to be in place? Because we know we've had an issue of proof of, we can call it in the rules of negotiation, proof of ownership, that you're speaking with the people that are in a position to even negotiate.
Yeah.
What my mind, even beyond proof of ownership, goes to is proof of life. you know, there are videos that were circulating around the world of the Chibok girls. We keep bringing up Chibok girls. But I've never seen, you know, a video of, you know, one of the girls holding maybe a newspaper from that day. You know, we see that in films for a reason. How are we to establish even proof of life? Is there any evidence that Boko Haram are even willing to, you know, to prove that what they might be willing to negotiate is still in place?
Oh, absolutely. That video you talked about was made like 2 weeks after the kidnap. Okay, the girls were still fresh and they sewed the powder and all of that and they talked on TV. Okay, so really, the video they issued. So the truth is that we don't even know if the girls
they're all still alive.
Okay, and if they are alive, they would have been brainwashed. You remember that even now there are kids, young girls being used to perpetrate bombing. They could be the ones, you know, made to do that.
I mean, we heard rumors. We heard, you know, reports from 3 women that allegedly were rescued that said these were the Chibok girls. Yeah,
it's sad. Okay, it's sad for me to talk like this, but let me say this to you. It is after over a year of the Chibok girls kidnapped. What state do you think they are in now?
Sorry to forget about
yes,
them.
so after the kidnap,
just rule them as
I wrote my column
casualties.
after the kidnap that we may never find the Chibok girls. It is sad, but those ones that escaped managed to escape, but the girls have been in their custody for over a year now. It's really, really sad. Okay.
There's a question I want to ask you, but I'd rather, you know, throw it to Victor. Ask Victor, you know, what he thinks. Now, Victor, let me ask you this question. We know we're heading straight to you for News Express. Do you think that the only way we will feel that, you know, Buhari has won the war against Boko Haram, do you think it is to get the Chibok girls, or should we just forget it, especially when our guest believes that Boko Haram, they do not want to negotiate with us?
Well, the thing is, a lot of emotion is involved, you know, when you talk about the Chibok girls. Buhari is a father, so is every other politician, you know, either a father or a mother. And I think it's along this line that the government is wanting to be careful not to be seen as being insensitive, you know, because people would say, if these were your daughters, would you be talking like this? So I think that's what government is really trying to do.
Well, I'll be asking you that question when we come back. Bayo Oluphunda is still with us, and we'll be looking closely at more attachments to this negotiation process. Do stay with us. We're heading straight to the news center for News Express. They say most wars, however furious or vicious, actually ends up at the table. Now, let's play this video. Back 10 years ago, remember the story of the Niger Delta militants? They went to table with the president, and guess what? Things were sorted, and they got amnesty. But is that the same case with Boko Haram? Now let's join and welcome our guest, Bayo Oluphunda. I got it now, did I? Yes, that's victory over the devil. Okay, so just being funny, but what?
I say it's a spiritual show.
It is. Olive just gave me, you know, that leaf. But back to business. We're going to open up the phone line so you can contribute and tell us what you think, because we've also heard from some of the internally displaced persons. They believe that Boko Haram should not be negotiated with. It is a no-no for them. Now, this has come up to a poll that we conducted, and about 79% of those people in Borno, the northeastern part, don't believe that that's an option for them. But do you consider this an option? Let us know as you call us or go onto facebook.com/GMNS School TV. Our phone numbers are as those: 012778196, 012772196, or you can also try out 02012777196. We also have our toll-free line. You pay nothing if you dial that number. Now, we left off with this question. Do you think that will be the landmark, that will be the icing on the cake for Buhari to get the Chibok girls? Because that seems to be, the poster word for every president or every spokesman.
Yeah. You see, like I said, I sympathize with the federal government because it's also good public relations for them to say they will negotiate with Boko Haram, because like he said, they shouldn't be considered as insensitive. So they will put option. But I can assure you, the federal government is not thinking of negotiating with Boko Haram. It's easy to say that.
So what has Femi Adesina,
no,
the
it's good for public relations to say that. It's political correctness to say you should.
Wow.
Just wait. It's political correctness to say you will negotiate with Boko Haram.
Is it good?
Like he said,
we have a notion even around the world of we do not negotiate with terrorists. Although we know in history that is not true. We just don't know what's going on most times behind closed doors. But I'm not sure. I'm still not sure how the Nigerians are even going to react to
if this is really PR.
I don't know if this is good PR.
Well, they will say they will negotiate with Boko Haram, okay? But underneath, there is a lot of military strategies, government policies going on to rout Boko Haram. Remember, he just came back from Benin Republic, okay? He's been to Chad, he's been to Cameroon. So the federal government is putting that option on the table to say, okay, like he said, they don't want to appear insensitive. And it's okay, sorry, we're under pressure. Okay, if these guys think they want to negotiate, we keep that option open while we rout them. But I can tell you, Buhari is a general. He's not thinking of negotiating.
Well, he's now
of course, he once a
pledged
soldier
to democracy.
Yeah, once a soldier, always a soldier. He knows that he has to rout the enemy. But it's good to also say that okay, if they want to come to the negotiating table, we will negotiate with them.
But how
but
do we draw this comparison? I mean, about 10, 11 years ago, we saw these militants, Niger Delta militants, come to the table with presidents, and they had this discussion, and things went on smoothly as we have it now to an extent. I mean, what would be the difference, apart from the caliphate, institution that they want in the Northeast? What else would be the difference for negotiating with these people?
There's a difference
if it worked with these people.
Okay, so there's a difference between religious extremists, and people fighting for resource control. The Niger Delta militants wanted a say in how the resources of their country, of their fatherland is spent, or of their immediate environment is spent. They want a say in it, and that is why they fought that insurgency. And when the federal government said, okay, come to because we could even put a face to Boko Haram. So we could put a face to the to Niger Delta militants. They had commanders. They had people. We knew men. Okay, so but now Boko Haram, they seem like phantom to me. Okay, so Shekau is the only face of Boko Haram, and there's been faction. There's been several factions. Okay, they've broken into factions. Yeah, so who are the people you're going to talk to? For Niger Delta, you could talk to them. They wanted resource allocation, resource control, and they got a bit of it through the amnesty program. Okay, right now that is not the case with Boko Haram. Boko Haram they are religious extremists. They want Sharia.
But we could, if we look around the world, we can compare this perhaps to the IRA. We can look at the fact that there were religious undertones, obviously, and the fact that they wanted independence. It's still something similar to the fact that Boko Haram, yes, it's linked within religion. According to them, they believe they're practicing Islam, but they also want a sense of independence. I wonder if we need to relook at the character of who can be brought to the negotiation table, because if we look at history and we see at different times different sorts of organizations, terrorist groups that have come to negotiate, what makes Boko Haram so different? Because we can compare them to the IRA, who were able to come to the table of negotiation. So why is Boko Haram any different?
IRA it was a unit, okay, and they had a focus, okay. Boko Haram does not have that. Boko Haram has broken into factions. Right now,
okay, so the problem is
IRA is not even religious. It's political.
It's religious as well. They're Protestants.
Yes, I know, but what they wanted was independence, okay? And they were violent about it, okay, until all the negotiations took place. It is different with Boko Haram. Let me ask you, have you seen anywhere in the world where establishments have negotiated with religious extremists? When Osama bin Laden bombed USA in 2001, September 11, America went after them, okay? They went after them to all the corners of the world. They went to Afghanistan and routed them because the Taliban housed, they gave them shelter, and they routed Al-Qaeda. Osama bin Laden was killed. America it's not that America is safer today. It's not that America is that's really safe today. But they have some. There's not been any terrorist-inspired killings in America, except the Boston Marathon bombing. And America is safer.
I doubt if Solomon agrees with you because he's calling in from Shagam, and I just feel like he's going to be standing on the other end. Okay. Hello, Solomon.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning. So, what's your opinion on this? Should the federal government negotiate with Boko Haram?
Okay. I thought it was federal government to negotiate.
Solomon, do us a favor. You might be on the road, and that's not great for production.
I hope you can hear me now.
Better, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I am not on the road. I am right here in my room.
Okay, go ahead, Solomon. Nice name. Go ahead.
So I don't.
Solomon, I'm so sorry. We have to let you go. I doubt that you're in your room. But if you do say you're in your room, maybe you should put the mouthpiece closer to your mouth. You were, comparing IRA and.
Yes, I was saying that you mentioned. Yeah, I was saying, look, it is hard to negotiate with. I don't want to be overtly. I don't want to be accused of bigotry. Okay. But no one has negotiated with Islamic jihadists.
America had 5 supposed Taliban fighters brought out from Guantanamo Bay. This notion of countries not negotiating with terrorists has been proven to be.
So many times.
It's not the case.
Okay.
It's simple to say, but the truth is, even if we look towards America as you see it, things are working for them. Although they too do come to negotiation. How much we find out.
What if the only negotiation should be the prisoner swap? Maybe that's the only thing.
But I'm not. Let's just put it into our own context. Okay. Let us look at the history of negotiation with Boko Haram. It has never worked. It is not going to work.
But can I, jump in here? I mean, we also know that the president has just come off from the United States, where he met President Barack Obama, and they talked at length. Sadly, Femi Adesina has, being presidential spokesman, has not told us some valid and some very concrete things that they discussed. He's just been telling us Obama thinks Buhari is great and awesome. That's exactly, we know that already. Tell us some more. But then looking at some of these details, perhaps he has told the president on how to handle Boko Haram, maybe while negotiating on the table. Do you think that's something Obama would have put out there for Buhari to follow?
See, Buhari's visit to America, to the United States, is to strengthen, in quotes, our insecurity problems, to get America to contribute arms, to get America to contribute intelligence.
Exactly, okay? That's intelligence.
But that's negotiation with Boko Haram is just something Buhari can decide on his own. It's an internal thing.
He doesn't need advice.
Yes, he doesn't need advice on that, okay? But going to, Obama could have told him to negotiate with Boko Haram when America is not negotiating with Boko Haram, with Al-Qaeda. My point is, negotiating with Boko Haram is not going to work because Boko Haram does not. They won't come to the negotiating table. Who is it? Sheikh that's going to come to the negotiating table? A man that's about $5 million reward ransom is on his head. Who are the other members of Boko Haram? Who are their leaders? They've broken into factions.
It's too divided.
Yeah. So the truth is that they're like phantoms. Now they are taking soft targets. Okay, and so they're not even they're taking soft targets, and so they know that they can be routed. Okay, they've been routed in the last six weeks of Jonathan presidency through the mercenaries from South Africa.
So what changed? If our military were doing so well within the latter 6 weeks of former President Abela Jonathan, what changed? We just changed the face at the center. So are you saying that Buhari didn't continue in that stead, or the military just went to sleep?
Okay, I mean, what happened was, I don't want to, say anything that would upstage anything. But what happened in the last 6 weeks was really fast and furious, okay?
We all were hoping that this was, this speed will keep up on
Clearly now, we knew that, we have known that there were mercenaries imported to Nigeria. South African mercenaries, arms from Ukraine,
Yes.
and all the Eastern Bloc of Europe were imported to Nigeria, and they tried to
Have
face
they been
Boko Haram.
transported back?
Where it's a deal.
what it
No,
is.
sorry, it's a deal. It's a deal. It's a deal. Okay, it's a deal.
That this government has not renewed, you think?
Yes. So because when Buhari came, he said it's regrettable that Nigeria, that has been
Will
a
be
beacon
using
of hope,
mercenaries.
that has been a beacon of hope in the last 20 or 30 years in Africa, will now be using outsiders to fight our wars. So Buhari couldn't have continued with that. So what he is doing now, let me just tell you, Boko Haram issue of negotiation is just being talked about.
PR.
It's not going to work. Okay. It's not going to work. Let's face the fact. The Buhari is ready to rout Boko Haram. That's why he's been traveling all this while, and that is why he's saying he's just promised today or yesterday that he's going to rout Boko Haram in November or in December. And that's the only option. I mean, that's the only option. Okay, that's the only option. It's a pity the Chibok girls issue as assumed this dimension. Okay, but again, Chibok girls has just assumed that dimension because, of course, it was also good because it beamed the searchlight on Nigeria, okay, on Boko Haram atrocities in Nigeria. But before then, thousands of Nigerians, of young girls, of boys have been kidnapped in the Northeast, okay, that nobody knew about. So, but it's okay. So negotiating with Boko Haram is not also to bring the Chibok girls back. It's to end the insurgency.
Exactly. That's a key point that sometimes we forget that we're not only negotiating
just to get the Chibok girls.
Is to bring the insurgency to an end. But again, I want to say this, okay? I want to say this, and it is important that I say this. We have spent so much money, okay, over trillions of dollars or naira in 2013 alone and 2014. To buy arms to end the insurgency. It never materialized. Bade said he inherited. He said he inherited.
If we start with Bade, I'm not sure
what is that?
Leave the show today.
For the neglected Nigerian armed forces. I disagree with that. We spent so much on our military in the last 12 years, okay?
Bayo, I wish we had an extra time to to go into the mutiny case that is linked with the lack of these equipments to use and tools to actually use in combating Boko Haram. Yes. But this is definitely a developing story that we will be keeping tabs on. Thank you so much, Bayo.
Thanks. So before I go, no negotiation with Boko Haram. We should have Boko Haram.
That's Bayo's thought. But then Buhari is a man that we have to, pray for. And he does have a mind of his own, of course, with advice. All right, if you want to share your thoughts with us, should Boko Haram be negotiated with, head on to facebook.com/GMNS School TV, or you can tweet at GMNS School TV. Up next is entertainment. Now find out more of the details from Dolapo Oni's wedding. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So, did you like what you just saw? I know you did. It's very simple. If you want to see more, just subscribe to our channel right now.